Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and I am a new segment for the board game Smorgasbord where I will be talking about games that can be played in about 20 minutes because these work for all ages, from kids to adults, for experienced gamers. If you need a great game to start off or end your long game night, you need one of these, but also just for busy adults who don't have time to fit a long game in after a full day of work. Sometimes it's great to just have a nice compact game that still packs a punch and is a lot of fun to play. Today, I am going to be talking about what I call stepping stone games. These are geared for kids and are a great way to introduce a child to the hobby of board gaming and make them feel successful and enjoy the games. A lot of times, I think there is a temptation to skip over some of these games because they seem very simple and like you could just go straight to the main games. But we play so many. We have been playing Magic Maze Kids. We've been playing my first Castle Panic. And a lot of these games offer kind of a revamped theme from the standard game that works to draw in kids. For example, Dragomino is fantastic. Kids love dragons. If they play the dragon game, then they are more likely to play Standard King Domino later on. This is called a foot and door technique, to use an economic term, and it's very successful. It's worked very well in my household. There are other great reasons to go for these games. Catan Jr. and my first Carcassonne offer simplified versions of the rules and shorter gameplay and slightly gentler gameplay, so kids can play these and fully understand the rules and be very successful. And then it's just easy to say, okay, you already know this, let's stepping stone you into the standard games. What I want to talk about this morning are the Labyrinth games. They have Labyrinth Junior, which is ideal for my preschooler. She can be very successful at that game, understand it fully, have a great time when we play. We play the standard Labyrinth games. Kudos to Labyrinth for coming out with some spot-on themes, just reskinning of the main game, but with Pokemon or Mario. And it can be hard to find games with those kinds of themes that are really fun to play. And we love Labyrinth. You're trying to go through a shifting maze to get to the treasures. Very simple game concept to explain, but a bit of strategy as you're putting in a tile and making everybody re-navigate around the maze. And then the next person puts in a tile and changes all your plans. And it uses some great strategic thinking as you're playing. Well, they just came out with Labyrinth Team Edition recently, which is a cooperative version of Labyrinth, but it is a more challenging version of Labyrinth. In this, Daedalus is trying to keep you trapped in the maze, and you are working together to collect all of the 24 treasures. But on each turn, you flip over a card, and Daedalus is flipping the extra token that the tile that you insert into the maze is now upside down and flipped across, and so it is like a dead end in the maze, and or he's making you travel back to your starting spot, so you're getting warped across the maze, and just every single turn there's some mayhem being thrown into the gameplay. And this, for us, made it much more interesting and challenging than standard Labyrinth. It made my daughter, who is an expert at regular Labyrinth, have to kind of reevaluate her standard strategy. And it did feel like a race against time. And it is harder in some ways to play a cooperative version of this because it's a lot easier to mess with all of your teammates than to work together and, oh, I've got to insert this tile. I'm trying to get to where I want to go, but I also want to make it so you're able to get where you want to go the next turn. It just worked really well, added some extra elements without making the game overly complicated, which is really the sign of a well put together game. If you're not just having to constantly refer back to the rules for especially a kid level game. So I just would like to say these stepping stone games really work to create gamers. And really, isn't that what you want? You want them to enjoy the games. You want them to be there playing games with you as they get older. And then you can hit all of your intense strategic games, but you got to start them off right. And we have found, I have 4 kids, these stepping stone games really are an amazing way to go about doing that. So thank you so much for having me on the show, and back to the folks in the studio.